The human was not happy to say the least after reading the document. He sat opposite me in the office and the expression on his face conveyed frustration, if not outright anger. "What is this?" he said, using one of his fleshy digits to direct my attention to a clause on the document I handed him. "We are recommending your entry into the Confederacy to be certain. Almost everyone in the Confederacy voted yes for it, however," I said, my eye stalks looking him straight in as calm a manner as I could. He sighed, annoyed. "Here we go." After a moment's pause, I continued. "However, we have taken an extensive look at your history and are making recommendations for recommendations for restrictions on military expansion and private security operations in order to control your apparent militant tendencies." He interrupted me, matching my statement word for word. "Jesus, here we go again," he said, scaring everyone in the room by slamming his fist on the table. "I don't understand. The recommendations are entirely reasonable. You just need to, calm down," I said after regaining my composure. "We are fucking calm," he yelled out. His voice echoed through the station. Every other species on the station suddenly went to a state of alert. He sat back in his chair and held his forehead in his hand. "Do you know why we are so militant?" I was treading a thin line here. There wasn't much I could say without receiving a punch. And considering human bone density, I wasn't willing to risk it. "No, we are just considering the historical facts." Spoken like a true politician. He smiled at me, though not in the way that conveyed a sense of happiness. More like he had heard this 1,000 times over and then 1,000 times more. I'm sorry. We are a militant species because we are a naturally rebellious one. Every war we have ever fought was because of idiots suddenly coming to the conclusion they could tell us what to do. We hate being told what to do or how to do it more than we hate anything else. Every accomplishment we have ever made is, in its deepest essence, our attempt at finding better ways to hunt down despots and tyrants. He stood from his chair, leaning close to me with his hands on the table. In order to enjoy the screaming we inflicted on them. I swallowed audibly. My skin turned a pale green, indicating sheer terror. Everyone else also was taken aback by that statement. And so, every war we have fought, every revolution we have made, every accomplishment we have done was an act of vengeance. Vengeance against those who wronged us. Any human worth the salt in their blood wants nothing more than to live in peace and quiet. Every single time we have accomplished this, every damn time we reached a state of stability, some random shithead has appeared and said, "No, you should do it my way, I know better." And the result was a war that saw that very same idiot hanged by his codpiece from a lamppost. His voice reverberated through the entire station, in spite of the pressure ceiling. But we dash. I was barely able to speak, so terrified was I of this creature. The First World War was the stupidest war we ever fought. To this day, we have never forgiven our monarchies or leadership for ever daring to think they could just toss millions of men into the nearest machine gun nest to stroke their ego. That's why we don't have monarchies anymore. All abolished, all illegal. He stared straight at me, as if his eyes were piercing my soul. Every war we have ever fought, and every accomplishment we have made, has been out of the need to hear a tyrant's final screams. For 100 years, our entire existence has been dominated exclusively by our resistance to tyranny. Nature made hurricanes, we created missiles that diffused them. We had earthquakes, we responded by welding fault lines shut. Space refused to allow us to get to it, so we built rockets. Tyrants rose up and attempted to ruin us for whatever insane reason. We put them down and burned their families in front of them. He slammed both hands on the desk. Am I to understand that here, at the greatest hour our species has yet to imagine, of being a part of something far greater than we could have imagined? You are attempting to tell us what we can or cannot do. Here's a tip. We outlawed tyrants. We outlawed others telling us what to do. We outlawed tyranny. We outlawed the process of becoming a tyrant, of gaining undue control. That's why we fight among each other so much. He calmed, his face returning to a more stable color. I couldn't speak. I was too scared. I was close to defecating in my trousers. As expected. Here. He took out a book and tossed it on the desk. Read this, then try again. I'm sure we will get along well. Here is a critical aspect of human nature. We are a tribal, pack-bonding species. We are exceptionally adept at making friends with anyone. Once we are friends, not even God can stop us from protecting them. Make sure you understand this. He stood up and headed for the door. I looked at the book. It had the picture of a mass grave on the cover. It read, Human Nature, a Primer, an aspect of friendship that we have extended to the bakery and Janusi. A wry smile of satisfaction appeared on his face as he reached the door. For the only time I will ever tell you or anyone, I will make it clear. Humans only want 3 things in life: to be left alone, to have friends, or to devote what little life we have to repeatedly punching something that threatens either of those things. Make sure you remember that. He walked out and headed to his ship's docking bay. We all looked at each other, stunned into dead silence. I looked at the back of the book and found a summary. A species that evolved with the nature to hate evil, hunt it, and ruin it at any cost. A short history on human warfare. I read the book. I did nothing for the next 7 hours except read that book.